Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's Pokemon Go video, we're going to be discussing a few different things in regards to the Super Rocket Radars. Now, previously we've talked about potentially saving your Super Rocket Radars for Shadow Mewtwo in the future, but there were a few different things that I actually ended up getting wrong in terms of my information, and this was mainly just due to a misinterpretation on my part from the information that Niantic actually presented to us. So I did want to apologize for that right now, as I did not mean to mislead anybody, and I do want to clarify things in this video right now. So again, the oversight was mainly just due to the fact that in the past we've actually gotten special research quests for each Shadow Legendary Pokemon for their respective month. However, this time around Niantic decided to do things a little bit differently. In the initial announcement, they talked about the Legendary Pokemon for the months of March, April, and May being Shadow Articuno, Shadow Zapdos, and Shadow Moltres respectively. And so this is basically where the confusion happened, because in the past we've actually gotten a special research quest for each respective Shadow Legendary. So when I was going through the Sylph Road Reddit and I was kind of just double checking my research and everything, you know, trying to verify what was actually going to happen for the months of April and May, because we already had the Higher They Fly quest for the month of March. So what was exactly going to happen in the next 2 months? Niantic additionally did announce that we were going to get the timed research event, but it was not clear if that was going to be the only Super Rocket Radar that we were going to get. Once again, the timed research is very uncharacteristic in terms of what you would actually have to go through in order to get a Super Rocket Radar. And so again, this is kind of where the misinterpretation came from. And so that's what I wanted to go ahead and clarify right now for all of you guys, because I was under the assumption that we were going to get additional special research quests for the months of April and May, which unfortunately is not the case. So basically the Higher They Fly quest is just going to be one single special research quest from the months of March to May. Now this is going to be the typical standard special research that we've all kind of been used to getting, whereas you go through the quest, you get to the Giovanni encounter, that's how you get the Super Rocket Radar, and then from there, when you beat Giovanni, that's when you actually complete the quest. So in this sense, you can still save this Super Rocket Radar and you can still save this quest line for the future. You don't actually have to complete it within the time period. And so to basically put it into perspective, the next special research for Giovanni is going to occur in June. So if you guys don't actually use up the Higher They Fly quest Rocket Radar, you can actually save that, use it at the beginning of June, which potentially could be any Shadow Legendary Pokemon. It's not confirmed to be Mewtwo. For all we know, it could be Suicune, Entei, Raikou, or even a different Shadow Legendary. If that's the case though, you can go ahead and roll that one over, you can carry it over to the following rotation. This is essentially what I ended up doing, and it's kind of also why I ended up getting confused in terms of the Higher They Fly quest. So previously the last rocket research was the Inter-Eggstein development quest, which is the one that I currently had, which essentially meant that I had my Super Rocket Radar going into the month of April, and then once I beat Giovanni and I got my Shadow Zapdos, the following day I unlocked the Higher They Fly rocket research quest. And then from here, now I can actually go ahead and get another Super Rocket Radar in addition to the timed research rocket radars for the months of April and May. There is a variety of combinations of Shadow Legendary Pokemon that I could ultimately get, and we're going to be going over these scenarios later on in the video. I should have timestamps on the video itself so you guys can fast forward to that if you are curious about your current situation. But going back to the misinterpretation here, because I was essentially carrying over my Super Rocket Radar from the Inter-Eggstein development quest, I ended up getting another Super Rocket Radar while also unlocking the Higher They Fly quest during the month of April. This also led me to believe that we were going to get the additional quest because I had not unlocked it previously for Shadow Articuno, because Shadow Articuno wasn't worth catching. And so I do hope that you guys understand that I did not mean to mislead anybody in my past couple of videos. I just ended up getting the information wrong just due to my own personal experiences, along with the things that I also read on the Sylph Road Reddit. That being said though, just to clarify things in a very simple manner, the Higher They Fly quest, which is going to be the special rocket research, where you have to go through and beat Giovanni, is going to be available from March to May, and this is only one single quest. And additionally, for the months of April and May, you're going to get 2 different timed research quests that are going to be specific to getting the Super Rocket Radar. And from what I'm aware of, they're both going to be available during the first week of the month. Again, we're just going off the precedent that April has set, because the Super Rocket Radar for April is only available during this first week of the month, opposed to the special research being available for a total of 3 months. Again, the Super Rocket Radar time window for the months of April and May are very, very limited, so if you're not playing the game during that time, you could potentially miss out on them. And unlike the Super Rocket Radars you get from the Rocket Special Research, the ones from the timed research don't require you to beat Giovanni, meaning that you can actually stack these radars for potential Shadow Legendary Pokemon in the future. Basically going back to what we've been talking about in the past couple of videos in regards to saving these Rocket Radars for Shadow Mewtwo, in addition to potentially saving the Higher They Fly Special Rocket Research Radar for Shadow Mewtwo as well. So with that being said, some of you may be a little bit concerned in terms of already using up your Super Rocket Radar for the Higher They Fly Special Rocket Research. Don't worry about it. If you used it for Shadow Zapdos like I told you guys to, that is totally fine. Shadow Zapdos is one of the top Pokemon in the electric type meta, so you guys have nothing to worry about. It is a great Pokemon to have, and if you ended up using your Super Rocket Radar to get yourself a Shadow Zapdos or potentially even 2 Shadow Zapdos, don't worry about it so much. It is not the end of the world. Overall, I know that some of you guys ended up using your Super Rocket Radars and some of you haven't used your Super Rocket Radars, so what I'd like to do in this video is additionally go over a few different scenarios in terms of what you can do moving forward. So the first scenario that I'm going to be going over is one that I personally went through myself, and this is going to be if you have a previous Rocket Special Research quest. For me personally, I had the Inter-Exine Development quest. For some of you guys, you may have some of the older ones, for example like Looming in the Shadows, and so if that is the case for you guys and you have one of the previous Rocket Special Research quests, go ahead and use that radar to get either a Shadow Zapdos or a Shadow Moltres, and then the following day you should unlock the Higher They Fly quest as long as you get this done before the end of May. Respectively, of course, if you want to get yourself an extra Shadow Zapdos, use it this month, and if you want to get a Shadow Moltres, use it next month. And so once again, once you complete your previous Rocket Special Research, you're going to unlock the Higher They Fly quest, and you can basically go through the rotation once again. Now this is where it comes down to your decision moving forward in terms of what you guys want to do with the Higher They Fly Super Rocket Radar. You could potentially save this for the next rotation. Again, we don't know what Shadow Legendary that is going to be. It could potentially be Mewtwo. It could also be a different Shadow Legendary Pokemon, so keep in mind you are taking that gamble, opposed to using it now to get either a Shadow Zapdos or a Shadow Moltres. So again, you have that option in addition to also getting the Timed Research Super Rocket Radar for the month of April and the Timed Research Super Rocket Radar for the month of May. So you're going to have the option of 3 Super Rocket Radars in addition to the fact that when Shadow Mewtwo does come back into rotation, it is going to have its own respective Special Rocket Research quest. So you have 4 Super Rocket Radars that you could potentially use to get Shadow Mewtwo, and so potentially moving forward you would have 1 Super Rocket Radar that you would carry over from the Higher They Fly Special Rocket Research quest, and then you would have 2 stackable Super Rocket Radars that you would get from the Timed Research quest, which again do not require you to beat Giovanni. Now again, this scenario is not very common, so let's go ahead and dive into the second scenario. So in this next scenario, we're going to assume that you started with the Higher They Fly Rocket Special Research quest. And so essentially this splits up into 2 different scenarios as well. The first scenario being that you save the Super Rocket Radar from the Higher They Fly quest, and you carry that over to the future. The other scenario is that you've already used your Super Rocket Radar for either Articuno, Zapdos, or Moltres, and then we can go into the timed research aspects. So we're going to go over scenario 2 and then we'll dive into scenario 3. So scenario 2, once again, you saved your Super Rocket Radar from the Higher They Fly quest and you're going to save it moving forward. This could be for a potential other Shadow Legendary Pokemon, it could also be potentially for Shadow Mewtwo. And again, we're going to also assume that you did not use your Super Rocket Radars that were stackable from the months of April and May. So essentially you're going into June with 1 carryover radar from the Higher They Fly quest and 2 stackable Super Rocket Radars. Again, basically the same scenario as pretty much me right now in terms of having 3 Super Rocket Radars by the end of May, assuming that I don't use any more on Zapdos or Moltres. Now in regards to scenario 3, assuming that you already used your Super Rocket Radar to get either Shadow Articuno, Shadow Zapdos, or potentially Shadow Moltres in the future, you're going to have the option to still get 2 more additional Super Rocket Radars from the timed research from April and May, respectively of course. So essentially moving forward, you would have 2 stackable rocket radars going forward into the future that you don't have to use if you don't want to. If you guys want to use them on Zapdos and Moltres, you can definitely do that. There's nothing stopping you. You're going to have to ultimately make that decision. But if you want to save them for Shadow Mewtwo in the future, you could also go ahead and do that. Once again, it is kind of a commodity to actually be able to stack Super Rocket Radars. This is not something that's been very common in the past. So again, the decision is up to you guys. And again, if you ended up using your Super Rocket Radar for the month of April as well from the timed research, which I know some of you guys already have, you would still have the opportunity to go in with at least 1 Super Rocket Radar from the month of May that you could again potentially stack moving forward. Now, this is an assumption, this is not confirmed or guaranteed. We're going to assume that it's going to be a timed research because once again, going back to the official Pokemon Go text, Niantic stated that you would only be getting 1 special rocket research from the months of March to May. And additionally, you're also going to have other ways to get Super Rocket Radars. Essentially, what we're going to assume is just going to be 2 timed research, going off the precedent that's been already set in April and moving forward into May. So once again, your scenarios could obviously differ. There's a couple different ones that I've gone over so far. Again, you know, moving forward, you still have to make the decision. Do you want to use your Super Rocket Radars to get Shadow Zapdos or potentially Shadow Moltres? Do you not want to get either of these Shadow Legendary Pokemon? They are meta relevant. They are definitely worth getting. You will have to use Elite TMs depending on the build that you want to go for, but they are definitely worth it in my opinion. But the same can be said for Shadow Mewtwo. Shadow Mewtwo is by far the best Pokemon to get in Pokemon Go, but you know, do you necessarily need 4 of them? Do you need 2 of them? Do you need 3 of them? I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to decide. Personally, I would like to get my hands on at least a few Shadow Mewtwo so I can use them for, you know, Go Battle League and then also for raids as well. I would definitely love to max one out and give it the second move. Oh man, that would be so awesome. I mean, Shadow Mewtwo is a beast, guys. I kid you not. It is so good to use. And it's also worth noting that Shadow Mewtwo will also have its own special rocket research quest when it eventually does come back into rotation. So even if you don't end up saving any of your Super Rocket Radars right now, you'll still have a chance to get a Shadow Mewtwo moving forward. The discussion here though is more so, do you want to get multiple Shadow Mewtwo moving forward opposed to just that single Shadow Mewtwo? Again, that really comes down to your personal preference. I know some of you guys don't really care that much. Some of you guys already have Shadow Mewtwo from the past. For those of you guys that are newer players, I would definitely recommend at least holding on to 1 Super Rocket Radar moving forward so you can at least get 2 Shadow Mewtwo, and of course maximizing and taking advantage of the fact that you can also get Shadow Zapdos and Shadow Moltres right now. And of course, we also don't know when Shadow Raikou and Entei are going to come back into rotation. Those are also respective legendaries, but of course we can talk about that when that actually happens. And so basically, just to sum things up, you guys definitely have some options moving forward depending on the scenario that you're currently in. For me personally, I can definitely go into this moving forward with at least 3 Super Rocket Radars, on top of the one that I'm also going to be getting from the Special Rocket Research Quest for Shadow Mewtwo individually, which essentially means I could get 4 Shadow Mewtwo, but of course I'm most likely going to use one of my Super Rocket Radars to get myself a Shadow Moltres, as I don't actually have a Shadow Moltres, so I would definitely like to get myself one of those as well. Overall though, again, you know, it really just depends on what you guys want moving forward. I hope that this video did kind of clarify things and it kind of addressed things that were maybe a little bit confusing in the past. Once again, I do apologize for any sort of, you know, misinterpretation that I did provide you guys in previous videos. I do feel obligated to definitely take responsibility for that, and hopefully you guys do understand that it wasn't my intention to mislead anybody. And again, that is why I'm making this video right now, to just overall clarify things, provide you guys with different scenarios that you can go with moving forward, and hopefully give you the best opportunity to take advantage of your Super Rocket Radars. Overall, I just want to provide all of you guys with some ample opportunities to get yourself some amazing Shadow Legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Go. And again, you know, this doesn't really happen that often. In the past, we've basically gotten a Special Rocket Research Quest for each respective Shadow Legendary. It is very rare to get the stackable Super Rocket Radar, so really think about what you guys want to do moving forward. And again, if you've already used up all of your Super Rocket Radars thus far, it's not the biggest deal in the world. You guys still have some great opportunities ahead of you. It really just depends on what you want to do moving forward. May still hasn't happened. You're still going to have that opportunity to either save that Super Rocket Radar or use it and get a Shadow Moltres. Again, the choice is going to be up to you. Of course, with that being said, that is basically everything that I have for you guys in this video. I think I covered everything for the most part, so if you could, hit that like button down below. It would really help out with the YouTube algorithm, and it would also get this video out to people that maybe need to see it, because these are definitely some ample opportunities that you could take advantage of. And you know, some people honestly see it a little bit too late. So, you know, share this with your friends, let them know what's going on. And of course, if you want to see more of these Pokemon Go videos in the future, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button as well and turning on the bell notification. And I will see you all real soon in the next one.